Hello, my name is Arena Alisha Ifigudo Anak Baberlon, and my matrix number is 01DKB21F1039. I'm going to explain about the requirement of Basel III. The Base Committee on Banking Supervision (BBS) created Basel III, a set of international banking regulations in response to the 2008 global financial crisis. In order to ensure financial stability and reduce the possibility of a new financial crisis, it seeks to tighten the regulation oversight and risk management of the banking industry. The following is a list of Basel III requirements. Here are some of the requirements of Basel III. Firstly, capital adequacy. Banks are required to maintain a minimum Common Equity Tier 1 (CET1) capital ratio of 4.5% of their risk-weighted assets (RWAs). Capital compensation buffer. To survive times of stress, bank must maintain an extra 2.5% CET1 capital buffer. Counter-cyclical capital buffer is used to reduce systematic risk during periods of excessive loan expansion. National regulators may impose an extra capital buffer. So, minimum total capital ratio, a bank must maintain a total capital ratio of no less than 8% of RWAs. Secondly, liquidity. High-quality liquid assets (HQLA) that can cover the net cash outflows for a 30-day stress period are required under the Liquidity Coverage Ratio (LCR), which banks must adhere to Net Stable Financing Ratio (NSFR) to guarantee that their long-term liquidity needs are appropriately addressed. Banks must maintain a stable financing profile over a one-year horizon.
Hi, my name is Nur Hafizah binti Ahmad. My matrix number is 01DKB21F1041. I will continue the first presenter. For the third point is a leverage ratio. Banks are required to maintain a leverage ratio to prevent their balance sheet from becoming too leveraged. It calculates Tier 1 capital as a proportion of the typical total consolidated asset of the bank. Next is a risk management and supervision. Improve risk management procedure. Banks are expected to enhance their capacity for risk assessment, monitoring, and management, including stress testing and risk governance. Greater openness and disclosure. Banks need to be more forthcoming with timely information regarding their risk profile, capital requirements, and liquidity position. Last but not least is a systemically significant banks. In order to address the risk, systemically significant banks (SIBS) pose to the global financial system, additional regulations may be applicable. This includes increased capital and liquidity needs, improved risk management, and preparation for recovery and resolution.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Al-Azamudin Al-Fazil. My matric number is 01DKB21F1042. I'm gonna talk about Basel IV requirements. What is Basel IV? Basel IV standards are still being discussed and proposed, and they are not fully implemented. But I can tell you about the prospective needs and proposals of important aspects that are being discussed at that time. Please note that this recommendation and claims may have changed or evolved since then. So next is Basel IV requirements. The first one is capital requirements. Basel IV aims to further strengthen capital requirements for banks. The proposal includes revision to standards approach for credit risk, operational risk, and market risk. This revision may lead to higher capital requirements for certain types of assets and activities. The second one is credit risk. The Basel Committee on Banking Supervision has proposed a new standardized approach to credit risk known as the standardized approach to credit risk. It aims to address the shortcomings of current approach and increase risk sensitivity. And the third one is market risk. Basel IV is expected to introduce change to the market risk framework, including the introduction of a standardized approach to market risk and revision to the Internal Model Approach (IMA). These changes are intended to improve risk sensitivity and comparability of market risk measures.
Hi, my name is Zairani Ikrimiti Zamani from DPF40053. My matrix number is 01DKB21F1029. After that, the operational risk, known as the changes to the standardized approach for operational risk (SAOR), which have been suggested by the BCBS. These modifications are intended to address the shortcomings of the present strategy and guarantee a more consistent and risk-sensitive monitoring of operational risk. Other than that is output floor. Basel IV is anticipated to include an output floor which would place restrictions on how much reliance banks may place on internal models when they're determining capital requirements. Based on the standardized methods, the output floor would establish a minimum amount of capital that banks must post. Last but not least is leverage ratio. Basel IV could provide improvements to the methodology used to calculate leverage ratio, which is compare a bank capital to its entire exposure. The adjustments might be made to improve the uniformity and comparability of leverage ratio computations among institutions.